Capitalism is about private ownership. For instance, I privately own this shirt. Well, at a large scale, capitalism allows us to privately own things like real estate, land, businesses, and sometimes even natural resources. Now, this private ownership is going to allow you the ability and the luxury of making personal decisions about how you want your personal assets to be allocated. I mean, after all, it's yours. You see, capitalism is going to emphasize also a market-based economic system. That means the market dictates the economy. Why did I do that? I don't know. And when the market dictates the economic system, it controls supply and demand. And when you control supply and demand, it influences pricing. So the market, the masses, actually are in control of the prices of goods and services, because the more people need it and the more people want it, it's going to influence the way a capitalist prices those goods and services. Now, it's no secret capitalism is driven by profit, and sometimes profit can bring out the worst in people. A lot of times it can bring out the best in people. Most people want to focus on the worst, but smart capitalism is simply an individual or an entity that's going to be highly invested in getting the maximum amount of return on their investment. That's just business. Where it gets a little tricky is that sometimes profit influences innovation or lack thereof. It can also influence efficiency or lack thereof. But the number one thing a capitalistic society increases is competition. And in my opinion, competition is a good thing. Brings out the best in us, also the worst in us. But it's why so many people watch sports, because sports is high-level competition. So is capitalism. And with that said, these core things are going to lead to economic growth. Another thing is that capitalism is built off of competition. It's going to create competition for consumers' attention and resources. And a lot of times this is going to prompt innovation. It's going to force companies to improve the quality of a product. Because if I can deliver a better product than the next company at a better price than the next company, well, we know how that story goes. And this competition also keeps pricing in check. I want you to read my lips. Competition is essential for economic innovation. Also, collaboration is essential for economic innovation. So let's collaborate. And the main thing I love about capitalism is limited government influence. Yes, capitalism promotes limited government intervention. Limited government intervention. And this is going to allow the marketplace to function independently and without excessive regulation. When the government steps in and start putting out a bunch of regulations, it could be a good thing, and a lot of times it's a bad thing, because that red tape is going to make it harder for the average individual to get in this capitalistic game and offer competition to corporations that, quite frankly, would love to have a monopoly on the situation. Now, the role of government, that's breaking down to protecting the personal property of individuals and businesses. They're there to influence the protection of our personal property rights. Things like enforcing contracts, making sure that the market remains a place of fair competition. And this is why Google just went to court, because the government is thinking that Google has a monopoly on the search engine game. See, capitalism promotes economic freedom and individual choice. The reason why I value capitalism is because I value freedom. Economic freedom, mental freedom, spiritual freedom, location freedom. Because I'm a capitalist, I have the freedom to pursue my own individual interest. And that's what the bots don't like. The bots don't want you to be free. The bots want you to be controlled by a system, which is why so many of the bots hate capitalism. Capitalism allows us to choose our own occupation. For instance, I'm a 9th grade high school dropout. Without a capitalistic society, I'd be a loser. Some of you guys still think I'm a loser. That's your personal opinion. I happen to think I'm a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, it is important to note that there are different forms of capitalism. I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, because some countries offer a capitalistic society, but they have more government intervention. And then you got systems like socialism and communism, and they have their own stuff that differentiates them from a capitalistic society. This is why when I was poor, when I didn't have anything, I would see people with the mansions. I would see people with the nice vehicles, and I would root for them. I would be happy because I knew that came from a capitalistic society. A lot of times in a socialistic society, if you're born poor, you're going to die poor. That's another subject. Pro-capitalism, pro-conscious capitalism. And if you want more content like this to help you master your mind and make money online, in the comment section, you should drop me a line. It's Robbie Cornelius with Web Asset Group.